RaghuramGRajan, The Third Pillar, How Markets and the State Leave the Community Behind. Welcome to the world of The Third Pillar, How Markets and the State Leave the Community Behind, a thought-provoking book by Raghuram Rajan that explores the intricacies of medieval European societies and highlights the complex relationships between state, market, and community. Journey through the fascinating ages of nation-state formation, the rise and fall of markets, technological innovation, and the impact of globalization on today's economies. Discover the concept of inclusive localism as a potential solution to rebalancing the power dynamics between the three pillars and fostering a more equitable society for all.
The rise of nation-states. In medieval Europe, self-governing manors were owned by noble families, and peasants paid taxes in exchange for permission to work on part of the land. The manors were governed by lords who ensured justice and settled disputes. An important aspect of this social arrangement was that the church prohibited usury, thus cementing the sense of community within the manors. However, the development of technology such as the siege cannon changed the rules of the game and created a need for funding a large army and defensive structures. As a result, rulers began to combine their estates, leading to the rise of nation-states. These states eventually became so powerful that they eclipsed the church, and monarchs ruled a unified people and levied taxes on the gentry to fund expensive wars. The rise and fall of the market. The consolidation of nation-states at the end of the 15th century marked the golden age of the state. It was the period when monarchs were happy with the commercially minded gentry acquiring unproductive land, leading to higher tax revenues and greater freedom for the new class. The Glorious Revolution of 1688 made the gentry more powerful by deposing King James II and replacing him with a more pliant monarch. The market then became central to European nations, praised by philosophers such as Adam Smith in his book The Wealth of Nations. But, the late 19th century, robber barons, in America abused these newfound freedoms and provoked a public backlash. Rockefeller, an industrialist, became the world's richest man by eliminating competition to his oil refining business by cartels, leading to legislators withdrawing his main company's charter. As poorly paid workers demanded better representation, most Western countries had expanded the right to vote to male workers by the early 20th century, returning the community pillar to the forefront of social and economic life. The rise and fall of Western economies. Despite the free market's resilience, the Great Depression led to anti-market measures surrounding rampant capitalism. The outbreak of World War II and the subsequent post-war era fostered unparalleled economic growth, allowing governments to establish welfare states and welcome immigrants. Nevertheless, the 1960s brought economic instability, a problem that deregulation and privatization of state-owned enterprises aimed to solve. Governments clashed with unions in the UK and the US, leading to the market's preeminence. However, this shift wasn't beneficial for communities. Rise of shareholder value. The concept of maximizing shareholder value gained prominence in the 1980s, leading to a shift in focus from contributing to society to increasing profits. This viewpoint was popularized by economists like Milton Friedman, who believed that the sole responsibility of businesses was to boost share value and profitability. This approach led to greater efficiency but also resulted in widening pay gaps and job insecurity. The rise of technological innovation further fueled a winner-takes-most economy, benefiting a select few while smaller musicians and businesses struggled to compete. The winners and losers of technological innovation. The labor market has significantly transformed due to technological advancements. While these changes have eliminated established jobs, they have created new positions. However, there is an alarming disparity between the winners and losers in the workforce. Automation has decimated menial jobs, causing job losses for less skilled workers but creating new opportunities for niche specialists. Unfortunately, the workers losing their jobs to automation are not equipped to compete with highly educated and globally mobile labor markets. Moreover, residential sorting has exacerbated the inequalities in the workforce. Affluent families seek high-achieving schools, driving up property prices and driving out poorer families. This social stratification has fueled populist movements, such as the Tea Party in the US and Brexit in the UK. The book explores the impact of these changes and highlights the political and social consequences. Interconnected fate. Developed and emerging nations are intertwined, particularly in terms of immigration, exports, and investments. China and India are two countries with unique economic situations. China's future growth will depend on its ability to eliminate measures that provide state-owned companies with an artificial advantage. In contrast, India's economic growth has been undermined by corruption, which has entangled the state with the markets. India's progress towards liberalization is threatened by the rise of Hindu populism, which could reverse liberalization. Inclusive localism. The book introduces the idea of inclusive localism as an alternative to the imbalances caused by the three pillars of our economies: state, market, and community that are out of balance and have led to populism. Instead of antagonizing minority groups, communities should decentralize power from the state to local communities, giving them the power to decide their own economic and political fates. Inclusive localism empowers communities to preserve the traditions they value while bridging the gap between individual communities. The state's role is to provide communications infrastructure, encourage mobility through legislative action, especially for lower-income families, and facilitate social mobility by creating a new national curriculum of lectures, reading materials, and assignments available to every child. Reviving local communities. The mayor of Indore, Malini Gaud, took on reviving her local community by transforming the municipal cleaning team, introducing fines for littering, and creating drum squads. These efforts resulted in Indore being ranked the cleanest city in India in 2017, with residents feeling proud of their community. Private sources such as philanthropists and financial institutions, along with the government, can provide funding for similar community projects. Additionally, a system of top-ups could incentivize citizen engagement and offer a valuable source of additional income for low earners. Inclusive localism and national sovereignty. In the face of globalization, states must delegate power to communities while regulating national and global trade, finance, and information flows. To promote fair competition and innovation, governments must ensure that markets are not dominated by a few corporations. In this regard, data rights laws must be reformed to give individuals ownership of their data. While tariffs should be kept low for goods and services, non-tariff barriers and financial trade must be tightly regulated. At the same time, states must exercise full sovereignty over domestic issues like monetary policy but prohibit policies that affect other countries. Inclusive localism provides the framework for promoting diverse national interests while managing globalization.
Raghuram Rajan's The Third Pillar sheds light on the imbalances in the relationship between state, market, and community, and how this has fueled populism and socio-economic inequality. The book emphasizes the importance of inclusive localism and decentralization of power for revitalizing local communities, and the onus on states to promote fair competition and innovation. The future hinges upon fostering a sense of community and enhancing interconnectivity between individual societies, through redistribution of power and responsibility. Building the foundation for a more harmonious world demands a concerted effort from governments, businesses, communities, and individuals alike.